Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this video to show off my settings, gyroscope sensitivity, all that bullcrap, because the question comes up, from time to time, and as the seasons change and as the skills progress, things change, settings change, life changes, and everything remains fluid. So, these are my settings. I'm gonna explain to you why. We're gonna test it out with the bots, and I'm gonna show you my settings and my HUD and all that crap. So yeah, we'll start the game. There's no volume because I want you to hear my voice here. There's no volume in the game. The master volume is off, so I want you to understand what I'm saying. So let's just load into the match real fast, and then we'll check out the settings, and hopefully they don't kick me out of the match. So I'm a gyroscope player because my thumbs are fat. I work out my whole life. I got like bodybuilder hands. My thumbs are fat. They're short. I got like short hands. I'm tall. I'm a tall dude, but I don't know. My hands are small. I got some small ass short fat thumbs, bro. So my thumbs don't do what they're supposed to do. Like, and the flexibility, like I can't even reach the center of my screen with my thumb, and I'm like almost 6 feet tall. So think about that. I got some small hands, bro. So that's why. Oh, and whenever my screen shakes like this, it's because I'm adjusting my triggers or I'm adjusting my hands on the phone. And I'm using a Galaxy S10 Lite, which is the best, in my opinion, low budget phone to play Call of Duty on with the biggest screen. It's bigger than the Red Magic. There's the bigger screen. The ROG phone has a smaller screen than what I'm using. Think about it like that. So that's why I like this. So anyway, these are my settings. I use gyroscope. So when I'm aiming, I'm not using my thumb. You see, I'm using my thumb here to look around. I'm not using my thumb. It's not as accurate for me to control my thumb. And then usually what I had to do before I had triggers, because I don't have the finger flexibility to do claw, is I would have to line up my shot and then take the shot. Line up the shot and take the shot. So sniping was impossible. Using SKS was impossible. But once I turned gyroscope on, the world changed, and I was able to get rid of all the buttons around my right thumb here, right? So now the way that I shoot is I'll ADS, and I used to use tap and hold, right? But when I'm tapping and holding, I can't jump. See, I'm trying to jump right now, and you can see my screen moving because I'm pressing the trigger, and my gyroscope is freaking on, but I can't jump. So I switched it to hybrid, so that way I can jump, right, and do that little thing that snipers do, where they'll freaking jump and do this, and they'll kill people, right? So that's why I use hybrid. And also sometimes when I'm really holding the hard scope, like when I'm really hard scoping for a long time, I don't want to keep holding the button, so I just one tap to ADS. So anyway, I love gyroscope. Gyroscope is awesome, right? This is my gyroscope. Now this is how, when you use gyroscope, this is how you're able to get the knife kills without having to switch to your knife, right? So you have to keep the reticle on them, and then you just kind of gyro into them like that, and it makes it 1,000 times easier to get a knife kill without switching your weapons. So let's check out the settings. I'm gonna show you my HUD real fast. This is my HUD. I only got 4 buttons here on the right side for my thumb, and then all my other stuff. And this is just a really great HUD because it minimizes all the crap on the screen, and I don't have to worry about looking at stuff. My grenade is there, all that stuff, save and exit, whatever. But sensitivity, speed acceleration, 150. Now my settings are the exact same settings in BR, exactly the same. So gradually switch by ADSing. I was using switch while opening ADS, right? I was trying that out, but what happens is with the gyroscope, right? As you gradually ADS, you can use your gyroscope without getting thrown off with the gyroscope settings, right? Because what it is, oh crap, I went to the wrong thing. What the problem is that, let's say you have your gyroscope, my 4X tactical scope gyroscope is at 50, but my standard sensitivity gyroscope is at 100. So what's gonna happen is, as I'm switching while I'm ADSing, it's gonna change too fast. Like the sensitivity is just gonna, it's gonna be too choppy, and it's gonna make it harder for me to keep on target. So, but as I gradually switch while ADSing, it really it smooths out the transition between the gyroscope sensitivity settings that you have set up. So check out my settings. This is my standard, is at 50. ADS is at 100. Tactical 80. Sniper 40. 3x 70. 4x 60. And then my 6x is at 50. Right? But sometimes I got at 45. And I keep the exact same settings for firing. Because I just don't want to get thrown off by the sensitivity switch. And then my gyroscope sensitivities. Now, I used to have higher gyroscope. I used to have 200 on the standard, 150 on the ADS. But it was too hard to control. It's very easy to get people when they're running past you with a higher gyroscope, right? But you need to have extremely steady hands if you are shooting from long ranges. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So this is my current gyroscope setting. So sniper gyroscope is at 25. A good sniper setting is between 18 and, let's say, 35, in my opinion. Once you get higher than that, it becomes very difficult to manage those long range shots. It becomes easier to quick scope for sure. So basically, the higher your gyroscope is, the easier it is to deal with people when they're up in your face. The lower, but it's harder to deal with them when they're far away. The lower the gyroscope is, oh shit, you see I'm getting kicked out. The lower the gyroscope is, the easier it is to deal with them when they're really, really far away. So for example, in BR, my sniper gyroscope sometimes is a little bit lower than in multiplayer, just because you're hitting people at like 50, 60, 100 meters in BR, right? So it's a gyroscope. So let's go back to the settings real quick. So my gyroscope, I'm going to show you what happens when you have the gyroscope too high. You're literally going to be able to see my heart beating. Check this out. So let's take the ADS sensitivity from 80, right, and put it at the maximum. Now, when I ADS, now my hands are pretty steady. But when you're playing the game and you're freaking getting, your heartbeat up, your hands are going to start, going like this. It's going to be like this. And it's really hard to aim. But if you have a higher gyroscope, it's freaking amazing to get people when they're running past you, because you can just turn on them so much faster. And then when they're crazy strafing, it's just a little bit easier to get them. Also, what I noticed is that the aim, once you take your thumb off of the screen, so like you stop aiming with your thumb, the auto aim kicks in like ridiculous. So now I'm tap firing, right? Because I'm not touching the screen, and my auto aim is just doing the work. It's not 100% auto aim, but it's doing the freaking, it's helping out way more. See, I'm not even having my screen on the my thumb on the screen. My auto aim is just kind of holding. But once I put my thumb on the screen, you see what happens when my thumb is on the screen? I'm not even tracking the guy anymore, right? So I take my thumb off, and all of a sudden my tracking gets way the hell better. So that's one of the reasons why gyroscope is lit. So you can definitely play with a high gyroscope setting, right? But you just gotta have way steadier hands. Oh, I didn't even max out the ADS on this. Okay, hold on, wait. That was the wrong setting. Let's do 80. Back to 80. I'm using a 4x tactical scope. So, watch. Look at my heartbeat. You can see my heartbeat. Watch. Look at it. Oh, wait, let me get out of here so you can see my heartbeat. Look. Oh my gosh. This is nuts. Look, I'm trying to hold it steady, and I can't. I can't keep it steady. So, to find your perfect gyroscope setting, because the higher the gyroscope, the more versatile you're going to be, right? But it's all about how steady you can keep your hands. So you want to find a point where you do not see your heart beating happening on the screen. So I used to run 90 on my 4X tactical scope. Right? But as you can see, I'm trying to aim, overcorrected, right? I can hold this a little steadier, But like what happens is you're gonna overcorrect a lot of the times when people are strafing, like, and then you're gonna try to snap onto somebody and you're gonna go way too far and have to turn back, and that's gonna cause you to get killed because you're losing time. So I eventually got to 50 on my 4x tactical scope. So that's 4x tactical scope, right? So basically, it's all about being able to steady your hands as much as you can, and then you can get the highest sensitivity that you can get with the steadiest hand that you can have, right? So let's try a gun that I have no scope on. All right, so kill me. Kill me, bro. I'm ready to die. Oh, maybe if I shoot the car. Oh, the car's already. Maybe if I shoot this car, because he's about to suck. Let's see. Shoot the car. Let's try to shoot the car. There we go. All right. So this is my gyroscope. So the most important thing that you got to remember is how many degrees of movement. So this is a 90-degree turn, right? The most important thing is how many degrees of movement do you want to have when you move your wrist, right? So like I was telling you before, I got some small hands or whatever. My wrists do not have a ton of range of movement that, you know, I can take advantage of. So I got to kind of move on my shoulders a little bit, rotate from my midsection a little bit. But I got it down to about a 30 degrees, right? Let's do a training mode. 30 degrees. So 15 degrees to the left or right is going to give me about 90 degrees of movement to the left or right. So you want to have about 30 degrees left and right total, 30 degrees left and right total, right, from your wrist to have about 90 degrees of movement, right? Whoa, this is way less. Okay, I did lower my settings a lot. So this is about, when I turn my wrist, I'm turning my wrist about 45 degrees for a 90-degree turn. Yeah, that's how I changed it. I was using less. So 45 degrees, I'm turning my hands 45 degrees to the left, but I'm getting a full 90-degree angle here, right? So when you have the setting that I was talking about before, when you have 30 degrees instead of 45 or less, you'll be able to do a full 360 with about 30 degrees. See, I can't even get a full turn without like turning my body. But so the way I do this is I sit up straight because I sacrificed some of my gyroscope so that I can have better accuracy at range, right? So I can't turn as much as I used to be able to turn, right? Like when I'm that's about as far as I can go. So what I'll do is I'll sit up really, really straight so that I can use my wrist, but I can also use my torso. Look what happens when I turn my torso. So I'm literally twisting my torso to the side, and like a boxing match or something, like a boxer, right? So I'm gonna aim, and then I'm gonna twist my whole torso and my wrist a little bit, and then I got this. Because if you just turn your wrist, what's gonna happen is the screen is gonna move away from your face, and then you're gonna be looking at a slanted screen. But if you turn your whole body from the ribs and use your stomach a little bit, the screen is gonna stay lined up in front of your face, and you're gonna be able to aim, right? So that is that with that gyroscope setting. Another thing, another really good reason why you want to use the gyroscope is when you're camping and you need to watch multiple angles like this, right? You don't have to use your thumb, because when you use your thumb, you see I just overcorrected because of my speed acceleration. So it's going to be harder to be more accurate, right? And you want to be able to do other stuff with your thumb. Prone, reload, shoot, mark the enemies for your team and stuff like that. Switch your guns, grab your grenade. That's what I'm doing with my thumb. So I don't have time to position myself and look in the direction that I want to look with my thumb because I'm managing too many different things. So I will use my gyroscope, especially when looking up and down and having to look up and then back, look up and then back, look up and then back. When somebody's up there and you're trying to make sure, holy shit, where's this guy at? You can just tilt your phone up, and it's so much easier because when you're using a phone, you don't have as much space. Like okay, my thumb is now at the top of my screen, and I can't go higher unless I let my thumb go and then start it at the bottom of the screen again, right? So you have to, when you don't have gyroscope, you have to move like this more, right? You have to swipe, 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 and that takes time. But when you're using gyroscope, it becomes smooth. Now, one really, the most important thing to practice with gyroscope, in my opinion, like there's two things you want to practice in gyroscope. You want to practice this. You want to practice drawing a perfect circle with your gyroscope. Practice drawing a perfect circle. And you want to practice doing this. Side to side, side to side, side to side. You want to get used to this. Side to side, side to side, side to side. Right? Now, I can probably have a lower gyroscope setting, to be honest, because I'm overcorrecting sometimes when I shoot my targets. But you want to get used to side, right? You see, look, I'm shooting like a freaking pro right now. And my aim with my thumb does not do this. I cannot do this with my thumb at all. I can't play the game without gyroscope, people. So my aim is all right. It's not bad. I mean, I usually get like 20-something% accuracy. You know, it's not like 40%. It's not like some ridiculous shit. But it's accurate, man. And I'm hitting them shots from far away. So that's how I use the gyroscope. And the cool thing about gyroscope is that once you get that muscle memory on whatever setting that you're using, you're going to be able to correct so fast. It's nuts. It's nuts. Look. And I'm using my stomach. I'm twisting at my shoulders a little bit, because the more muscles you involve beyond your wrist, the more control you're going to have, right? So if I'm using my ribs cage like I'm shadow box, like I'm slipping punches, right? And I'm going side to side, I'm going to be able to control my wrist movement. I'm going to be able to be a little bit more precise in my wrist movement if I'm adding in more muscle groups. The problem is with adding in more muscle groups is the time. The more muscles you add into the movement, the longer it might take you to correct. But as you gain muscle memory experience, you're going to have a much more precise correction, and you're going to be able to really handle people coming out of all kinds of places. Now, the most important thing, that biggest problem I'm dealing with right now with gyroscope, is the fact that my frame rate is not at like 100 or whatever the maximum frame rate that you can play this game at. Because as you're